All right, we're back. We're still on page 11 of note 17, and we are doing polar areas. And we just kind of worked through a pretty challenging problem. I mean, it's not super easy to do this, and you really have to start thinking about like when and where and how and whatever. And like one thing that I didn't really point out was polar's weird. So like just because the two curves happen to be in the same XY point doesn't mean that they get there at the same time. And sometimes you have to think about that. That's why at some point in the video I said my recommendation is find the first time something happens and base everything on that. So what I mean by that is if you follow this curve, like there's going to be a place where the circle and the curve intersect here. They intersect, but they are not there at the same time. The circle is still like, where's the circle? I think the circle is still here, like doing this, when this curve has made it all the way over to here. So you really want to like be very careful about things like that. Just because two curves are colliding doesn't mean that they're doing it at the same time. It's very like a parametric type thing. So let's take a look at this. So this is a spiral. Spirals look pretty neat. Play around with them on your calculator, on GeoGebra. Desmos, I think, does a good job. So what we're doing is theta divided by pi from 0 to 6 pi. So what's nice about theta divided by pi is like when you get to your quadrantals, you get a nice value, right? Like pi over 2 divided by pi is just 1/2. So when we get to pi over 2, we're just out at 1/2. Pi divided by pi is 1. So when we get to theta equals pi, we're just at 1. When we get to 2 pi, we're just at 2. 4 pi, we're just at 4. And 6 pi, we're just at 6. So you get these really nice values by dividing by pi. We want to, well, this is weird. I guess this is actually question A, B, and C, but the way they're named, whatever. I just want the area from 0 to pi over 2. There's nothing exciting about that, right? I mean, that's like this tiny little region here. I didn't realize that wasn't my pointer. So we can just do that. That's just set up and evaluate, I guess. So it'd be 1/2 the integral from 0 to pi over 2 of theta over pi. It's going to be a weird answer, d theta. So what on earth? This will be like theta squared over 2 pi squared from 0 to pi over 2. What does this even give you? It gives you pi squared over 4 over 2 pi squared. Is you 1/8? That's weird. Is that even right? I mean, I think it is. Theta squared. Oh no, I didn't integrate. Ooh, crud. Forgot to integrate. Get out. That never happened. That's what get myself all the time. So when I integrate 1/3, 1/6, right, and then cubed. Well, now I'm shook, you know. So now I get pi cubed over 8 over 6 pi squared. Pi over 48. I got pi over 48 that time. I've been checking on a calculator. If I had to guess if that's right, I think it's probably right, but you never know. Estimate the total area enclosed by the graph on the interval over which it is drawn. All right, so let's think about this. So, I mean, this is kind of like, so this, if I just had a circle of radius 4, it would be too small. If I just had a circle of radius, what is that, like 9/2, it'd be too big. I could average those and say like 9/2 plus 4 is 17/2 divided by 17/4. So like what I'm proposing to do is like just average this radius and say it's a circle there. And just go like with that. So that would give me on that first interval, I have a lot of room to do it. So so in quadrant 1, I'm going to estimate that I get 9, what was it? The radius of the circle I'm going to use is 9/2 plus 8/2 divided by 2. And then in quadrant 2, I'm going to use a calculator for this. I'm going to estimate it using a circle that has, so this would be 9/2 and it'd be too small. And then this would be 5 and it would be too big. So I'm going to average those. I'm just like making this up. So 5 plus 9 halves over 2. In quadrant 3, it would be 5, which is too small because it keeps getting bigger. And then this would be 5, 10, so 10, 11 halves, I think. 5 plus 11 halves over 2. And then in quadrant 4, I'm thinking I would use 11 halves plus 6 over 2. I'm going to add up all of like a quarter of each of those circles and see what I get. Right? Let's call this like R1, 2, 3, and equals R4. So I want to do 1/4 of pi, and then R1 squared, R2 squared, R3 squared, R4 squared. I don't know. I think that's going to be like pretty close. And I'll do that on a calculator too. Now, how am I going to find the whole area? Well, I want to really avoid double counting, right? So 0 to pi over 2, I would have counted this. And then to pi, I would have counted this. And to 3 pi over 2, I would have counted this. And then to 2 pi, I would have counted this. Now I run into a problem. If I go from 2 pi to 5 pi over 2, I'm double counting the 0 to pi over 2. And then that's going to keep happening. What I probably want to do is I think I want to actually start out here. Right, so I want to start at theta equals 4 pi, and then I can go around, around, around. I'm like not double counting anything because I never counted it to begin with. And then I will stop when I get to 6 pi, which will happen here. And I think that will give me the answer. So I'm going to go 1/2 the integral from 4 pi to 6 pi of theta over pi squared d theta. So should I try to do this by hand again? Okay. So I'm going to get 1/2, 1/3, 1 over 6 pi theta cubed from 4 pi. Oh, I got a cube 6. That's disappointing. Oh, I don't have to cube 6. Well, maybe. 1 over 6 pi, then I'll have 6 pi cubed minus 4 pi cubed. I don't want to work that out. That's going to be that should be the exact answer. Let's do some calculator stuff and just like confirm, and then we'll get out of this video. So off this page. New problem, doc 4.1, and then R of t is t over pi. All right, so first thing I did was 1/2 the integral R of t squared t from 0 to pi over 2. And we get pi over 48. Nice, good save, good save. So the next one, I'm going to store these radii. 9 over 2 plus 4 over 2. And then R2 is 9 over 2 plus 5 over 2. And R3, we just want to see how close we got, is 5 plus 11 over 2. Also, when I was doing this, I wasn't really thinking if these are right. I think they are. R4 is going to be 11 over 2 plus 6 over 2. Kind of like I didn't really find the average radius, which I could have done. I did the integral divided by the interval on to figure out the average value of the radius. That actually would have been an interesting problem. Find the average value of the radius and then use that like all the way around and see what we get. That would have been a cool problem, but I didn't think to do it. So that's disappointing. All right. So I want to do 1/4 of pi times R1 squared plus R2 squared, R3 squared. I mean, we're doing like a lot to approximate it. Let's get a decimal. 79.5. What is 36 times like 4.5? 36 times 4.5 would be like almost like a rectangle, like way overestimate, but kind of a rectangle. Got like half of that. Not bad. So let's see if I do 1/2 the integral of R of t squared comma t. So now I'm trying to find the real value. 4 pi to 6 pi. 70. Ooh. Look at that. 70, that's a good estimate, it turns out. So 79.587. I'm going to write that in. 79.587. And then this gave us the approximation was 79.522. Holy cow. Really good estimate. All right. So that's like, I don't know. I just thought an interesting polar type problem. So we can do all sorts of things now. Like we know what we're doing. It's a matter of like, how complicated is the polar curve? How complicated is the question we're being asked about the polar curve? I'll be back in the next video to do more of this. So I will see you there.